Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing well. And today, my friends, we're back with a showdown between Kislev and the dinosaurs. It's going to be myself with the Ice Witch facing off against Hadries and Lord Croak. Let's get this party started. Let's have some fun and let's break it down. So as far as the build goes in the front line, it is going to be the big elemental bear. Now, this thing I actually think is pretty good against the lizards. They do have things like Razordons and, also the Colossedon hunters can do some good work against it, but I like to use this thing as like a big sponge. You basically let it go forward, absorb all the shooting from the chameleon skanks and other, sources of anti-large the dinos might have, and then you heal it up with the Patriarch. So Patriarchs have two forms of healing. They have the item which gives passive healing and vigor replenishment, which is crazy good. And they also do have the Salax Lullaby, which heals a lot. It's 0.80% of HP per second, so pretty big. So basically, you're just constantly healing the bear. We do have a single Zargard in the back to hold the objective, 2 sleds, and it is going to be an Ice Witch. So we have a big SEM Goon Squad. We have the Ice Witch on horse, and the only spell that she's bringing is going to be the Ice Maiden's Kiss because it's really good at clearing out skinks, which Lizardmen love to spam on objectives. And then the 2 Patriarchs, these guys are actually really good fighters. 45 melee attack, 360 weapon strength, decent armor values, and they of course heal. So they're able to get in there on their bears and deal with things like Bastillodons, right? And sleds are really good. A lot of lizards in the meta these days are just going to be spamming a ton of infantry, so the sleds are there to kind of punish those. Now for the Great Hadries, he is going to be going for a super wide army of skinks, as well as the cohorts in the backfield, red-crested skinks. And on the backfield, we do have a Bastillodon Rev Crystal, double Ancient Salamander. And Ancient Salamanders, their niche is basically outranging bow units, which they do with 160. A lot of my bow units, I think, on Kislev are 140, so it's a nice tech from Hadries. And they're going to be able to just, bombard armored infantry as well, like Zargard. But, I didn't bring a lot of good targets for them. I brought more of a single entity type build, which is going to be following up with mass infantry. From this point, I'm basically just going to be spamming out armored Cossars and, filling the battlefield with them, as well as Warbear Riders. I do not like to bring Winged Lancers, Griffin Legion against Dinos for the same reason I don't like to bring Empire Knights here. And that's because I think I brought 1 Winged Lancer just as like a utility piece, like a, kind of a toolbox. But Coldwind Knights and Feral Coldwinds just counter those type of shock cavalry so incredibly hard that I actually prefer to go with Warbear Rider. Especially if you have double Patriarch, having the Warbear Rider is going to be very strong. So, Kislev is up. Heavy War Sleds are chilling. Going to be putting some firepower into the cohort of Sotek here, picking off a couple models. Feels pretty good, and we do see some bunched up lizards here, so there will be, I believe, an Ice Maiden's Kiss coming out soon. But the Heavy War Sleds are definitely one of the best units on the roster, in tandem with, I think, the Dervishes. So yeah, Skink's getting absolutely flattened right here. I see him going for a triple cap, so what he's trying to do is basically just swarm my objectives with capture weight and get a fast triple cap on me, which is, can be very, very hard to dig your way out of that, but... Sled's getting some work in. Elemental Bear also hustling across, and the Zargard are going to be providing capture weight here. But the bears are here. They're bearing down unbearable beatdown as they run over these skinks here, and the terror route's going to be coming into play. So you can see the little combo of the bears and sleds. It's a really good sweeper piece, and we are able to kind of sweep those units off the objective. Now, this side point, I do get some dervishes up, and I end up attacking the red-crested skinks, which have terrible melee defense at 19, so the melee attack of 28 on the dervishes actually turns out to be pretty good. And we do get the initial grab on this objective. So objective 1's going to be under our control. Zargard here are getting popped by the Ancient Salamanders, so you'll notice they took a lot of HP damage since last we looked. And I believe they're still going after the Zargard, thankfully the tree providing a little bit of protection, but overall they do some good damage, and that was a very, very nice play. So I see myself kind of getting popped by those units. I grab the Elemental Bear, and I'm just like, all right, let's just like laser focus this thing on the Salamanders, just chase them, and try and be as annoying as possible, essentially. On the far side, we do have the armored cohort, the armored Cossars battling the cohort of Sotek with the Refuse to Die. Cohort of Sotek will trade pretty well into the Cossars. They have good armor piercing and also just good stats in general, being an ROR. But we do have the Ice Witch nearby, and the Ice Witch is going to continue using her magic, but I am double capped right now. And in terms of value, though, we are a little bit ahead, which is a good sign. In the backfield, I do have my double Patriarchs looking to try and dive back here. One of the Elemental Bears does catch the Salamander, and with this Frostbite, he is able to slow that thing down. So certainly trading pretty well here as the Patriarchs do retreat back, and the Heavy War Sleds continue to do great work clearing out the troops. However, these are red-crested skinks, and you can see they are putting some considerable damage. Hadries, with a very nice response as well, does get the Colossedon hunters coming out, so they are going to be chasing the big bear. So I need to pull back and get my Patriarchs, heal my sleds, heal the bear, and just make sure that we're all safe and sound here. On this side, it's going quite well. We're slowly grinding through the red-crested skinks, but the cohort of Sotek is unbreakable, and they take their sweet time in going down here. On the back, we do get armored Cossars coming up, just trying to get bodies on the point, and eventually flip that one. But value trading is going good. With the healing being taken into account, you can see we got a Salax Lullaby right here, which means that our Heavy War Sleds got a fat heal, so able to mitigate the damage that they did take. Big Bear getting shot, and looking over here, 2 Ancient Salamanders are back online and shooting, but honestly they don't do that much damage against single entities. Where they really shine is shooting infantry. You'll notice there's not really too many infantry over here for them to shoot. Granted, they could move over after the Armored Cossars and do some work. So I figured this fight went okay. Pull back with the Bear, pull back with the Patriarchs, and I see a lot of infantry over here, right, that are unsupported. So we're going to be pulling in the heavy war sleds, trying to run them over, while the Ice Witch continues to just wear down the red-crested skinks. Another Ice Bane's Kiss going down. It's a very good spell. It's one of the better spells in that lore of Magic, and anytime you're expecting mass infantry, that's really what you want to be doing. So the big sleds of Kislev coming in to support the boys. The Bears getting ready to party. These guys are broken, and now we have a pretty good opportunity to get this objective. Hadri's responds, though. Clawsodon Hunter is moving, as well as the Popcorn cohort. So the Pock cohort is coming in. Anti-large armor piercing. They're going to be able to move across and do some anti-large against the sleds if they can catch them, but we do break the last of the skinks off the point, and there's only 2 models of the cohort of Sotek, so I'm hoping that we can get that. And it looks like the Clawsodon Hunter is going to be going after the Bear, which is kind of what I wanted. In anticipation of the Clawsodon Hunters being a problem, I did summon 2 Snow Leopards out, so they're pretty cheap, 650, anti-large, fast with Frostbite, and now the Bear is surrounded. Hadri's does also have Tic-Tac-Toe, so that's pretty nice. So a lot of damage getting in on the Big Bear here. You can see he's kind of getting mulched a little bit, down to 7,500, but the Snow Leopards are in! Coming in to protect the big Urson, the Patriarchs as well. I almost yelled for the lady, but that wouldn't make sense. Nice response with Croak as well. Hadri's does use the Supreme Shield of the old ones, which is like a sauced up version, and it does give 40% ward save, so that's going to be mitigating a ton of the damage that I'm going to be putting in. Zargard coming in to help, but being shot by the 2 Ancient Salamanders, and the Razordawn pack here is also a really nice pick. These guys, I don't really have any means of shutting them down. The Cold One Knights are going to be dominating a lot of the fights in terms of the mobility, so it's a tricky one. But Croak is, he's in a little bit of a dangerous position as well. Clawsodon Hunters are getting the Rev Crystal, but the 2 Snow Leopards and the 2 Patriarchs, in tandem with the supporting infantry coming in, should be able to grind these units down. Very, very pitched fight right here. Lord Croak going to be dropping a Deliverance of Pizza on top of my Zargard, which is not bad. There's only 29 models, but here we do break them. The Clawsodon Hunter is getting messed up. They're terrified. Push back, and the Bear is still alive. Not by much, but now we do have an opportunity to maybe kill Lord Croak. The 2 Snow Leopards and the Bear are going to be attacking Croak. But Slann are deceivingly tanky. Yes, they have terrible combat stats, but they have a huge HP pool, so it often takes quite some time to drag down these bad boys, even if you're just like straight up getting in an advantageous fight. We do get the double cap, and the value lead does lie in the hands of Hadri's, but in reality, considering the Patriarch's constant healing and just, value I've been getting from that, I'm probably actually ahead in value. I would wager that I'm maybe even ahead by like 1,000. The double Salax Lullaby in tandem with the Brazier, which just gives the constant healing, is very, very scary. So the War Sled's able to push back some of the Popcorn cohort. Side objective, pretty well controlled by 2 Armored Cossars, which are now going to be moving across here. And, that's what's cool about Bear Sleds. They're pretty good at fighting in melee, so we just get them into combat with the Razordons, which unfortunately do have good armor-piercing attacks. But backed up by the double Snow Leopards, we get a nice little Frostbite on them, and we are making a push for the back objective. Unfortunately, the Elemental Bear does fall, just disappearing into the warp. Okay, I've never seen it go quite like that before. But it did go down, and damn Lord Croak got away with 800 HP. Son of a gun. Should have finished him off, but got a little bit of a hard-on for trying to finish off the Razordons and take that pressure off. So now we're starting to get some momentum. We do have the double cap, but I am a little bit overextended into enemy territory, which means Hadri's is going to be able to get reinforcements very quickly. So Feral Cold One's coming out in pretty heavy numbers, and Ancient Salamanders are not bad fighters. They themselves are, if I were to compare them to something in my army, they're probably similar in terms of like combat efficiency to my Patriarchs, right? So they're able to force them back. My sleds get really, really beat up here. Snow Leopard's going to be trapped, unfortunately. Their mass is pretty poor. Tic-Tac-Toe attacking, and I am pushed back. So suddenly the momentum switches back to the dinos a little bit. I still think I have a value lead, all things considered, with the healing, and the sleds are going to get healed as well. They still have 3 models here, and these ones have 2 models. We do get the Salax Lullaby, which is going to be giving some heals. And I believe I have Warbear Riders coming in soon. Another sled, and then the Warbear Riders will come in due time, because they're very good against much of what is left. Snow Leopard's trapped up, can't really get away here. Poison, trapped, just trying to get what value I can, so they're going to be nibbling on any big targets. That's possible. And these damn Amixon Barbs, Barbara causing problems as usual. And the Razordons. Those things doing a lot of work, I would imagine. 1,400 value on these ones, and these Razordons are sitting at 200 so far. But they've only been out for a couple seconds, so they'll have time to get their value. Here we get more sleds coming in, trying to break these Feral Cold Ones. Ice Witch just sitting back in the shadows. And now the Warbear Riders of Kislev are on their way out to try and salvage this relatively precarious situation. But looking at the battlefield, pretty much everything that my opponent has is going to be weak to the Warbear Riders. They'll be very, very, very strong against all these assets. Even Tic-Tac-Toe. Tic-Tac-Toe is considered large, and the sleds are still doing a really good job controlling the Skink spam. And now we see Feral Cold Ones moving across. They're going to be attacking into the heavy war sleds, and we do get some Cossifite Dervishes. So I brought 2 of those. Cossifite Dervishes can probably defeat Feral Cold Ones in combat, simply because their stats are better in the Unbreakable trait. But even still, Feral Cold Ones don't do badly. They do have 90 armor. A little bit of a pain. Another big blob fight here. We do have the bears, but the bears are backed up by the double Patriarchs, which means there's going to be some fat healing going down, so they get that constant 0.10 healing per second. And of course, when the lullaby's up, they're going to be getting even more. And you can see the fight's going well. Skinks are shaken. We do have the Snow Leopards, some of which did survive the other fight. And we do break the Rev Crystals. The Rev Crystal getting absolutely smashed by our Goon Squad here. You can see the bears moving in, and it looks like that tower right there is kind of screwing up the camera. There we go. But down goes the Bastillodon. Warbear Riders doing the job. Other Ancient Salamander a little bit trapped up, so we're going to be piling in right now. And we did manage to hold on to the side objective. So here we do get the Kislev dervishes just charging and trying to be like Walmart versions of the Winged Lancers. They, of course, don't do insane damage, but really, if you look at them, like a Kislev dervish charge is about the same strength as an Empire Knight charge. Their charge bonus is only like 8 less, and their combat stats are very similar. Their weapon strength is only 3 less. So really, like, they're kind of functionally like Empire Knights in terms of like being a roadblock, but they're cheaper and faster. And Empire Knights, of course, much more sustainable and tankier. So a bit of a trade-off, but just take into account, they can do some work. So we got the momentum here. We did break the big scary leopards, I think. Not leopards, but what are these things? Yeah, Colostodon Hunters broken as well as the salamanders. And now we do get the Patriarchs jumping on top of these units right here, and the Warbear Riders moving up, and we are getting good pressure. Amixon Barbs, though, getting good crossfire, up to 1200 value, and most of the damage I am taking this game is from those units. Those are hands down the big MVPs in my opponent's army. This objective looking a little bit scary. Dervish is trying to hold, and we do have 2 units of infantry, 41 Kossars and 80 Kossars here. Lizards do have a little bit of a capture weight advantage, but we do get it back here. Some of the dinos do rout, and the Ice Witch still has that Snow Leopard summon, which we did use to help fight off the Feral Cold Ones. And now the Patriarchs coming in, going to get a rear charge into the Red Crescent Skinks, try and break their leadership, but also provide a little bit of healing. So we have extended deep once again. We kind of saw how that went last time, so trying to be a little bit more cautious here. Pulling back the Warbear Riders, trying to get away from the Barbaras, which are just putting a lot of firepower in. You can see the heavy war sleds getting melted, so yeah, these honestly, these Razordon hunting packs have been really a solid counter against some of my sleds. Had they been out a little bit earlier in the game, I think my sleds could be in trouble. Coldon Riders charging in. These are not the anti-large variant, which I do like that. I think like Kislev can often go with infantry spam, so going with the basic Coldon Riders, like they do good enough against big cav, and they're also going to be better against infantry than the spear variant. But I do get pushed back here. Sleds are broken. But this side is a very decisive fight. I do summon out a second unit of Warbear Riders, so they came in. My build had 2 in total. And they do just absolutely bunker bust these cold ones, and any other like big mass that wants to come in. Those guys are doing some serious heavy lifting. So Lizards back. They're moving up with the Popcorn cohort. Going to be heading for my back objective. Kossars draw their pistols. Super cool stuff. And they're going to be getting some big pot shots here into the cohort of Sotek. And it looks like they're going to be losing some models. 43 melee attack, though, will help punch through the melee defense here of the Kossars. Granted, they do have 38 themselves. And the Icebane's Kiss has been very good this game. Able to take down some of those somewhat elite Lizard units. So taking a big macro look at the battlefield, I do have 2 infantry units here, as well as these Warbear Riders, which are trading very well. Basically just dealing with every single unit of Feral Cold Ones that comes out. They're able to slap them, but big Alpha Strike coming in. Tic-Tac-Toe is an armor-piercing character that hits pretty hard, and he's got his little Feral Cold One party here. So the Warbears, taking a look at the value they've accrued so far. Only 600, but they're fighting okay, and they do have a little bit of Kossar support. Hopefully they'll be able to kind of turn the tide of the fight. But Hadri's bringing in the Amixon Barbs. It's probably going to be turning the momentum on that one. Armored Kossars trying to hold on here, but we do see a big push coming in from the Skink cohorts and the Coldon Riders. Over here we stabilize pretty easily, and the Warbear Riders now going to be coming trying to salvage this point in tandem with the Kossovite Dervishes. I don't want to be losing this. The score is pretty close, and if he was to get a double cap, it might be kind of hard to wrestle it back. Lizardmen are really good at swarming objectives with high cap weight, high speed units like these Skinks, so I really did not want to lose that one. So here comes the Dervishes charging into the old Skink cohorts, doing big damage there. And the Warbear Riders do saturate in. They get an engagement versus the cold ones, and they should be able to take them down, especially with the backing of the Patriarchs. You can see their HP is constantly going up, 0.10 per second. Very good stuff. Very cost effective on these high HP models. So Dino's going to be sending more Skinks across, looking to maybe try and swamp my back objective, but the Ice Witch back there and the Armored Kossars should be able to hold that one down. And over here, more of these Amixon Barbs, man, causing huge problems. One of my Patriarchs does actually break. These Warbears, hopefully they're going to be able to get their value back. It looks like, yeah, so far they're at about 1,600, so chewing through many of these big targets has been very cost effective here. And yeah, the Barb's still going, though. I would wager they're at a couple thousand value. Looks like 2,100 here. More War Sleds on their way back, because I know infantry spam is going to be his way out of this game, trying to get on the points and just steal them from me with high cap weight. So we need some sleds out there. We have the Warbears. They can still functionally deal with a lot of the mass, and let's hope and pray that it works out. Snow Leopard moving up, obviously not great at killing infantry, but I'm just trying to press his other objective. The value right now is even, but considering the healing I have, I felt as if I was quite ahead in terms of the standing armies on the battlefield. So I wanted to get up here, wanted to push back the skinks, take objective 2, and really just get that slow squeeze going down on my opponent's forces. Patriarch moving to the objective here, heavy war sleds fighting, and we do maintain the capture weight. The barbs have pretty much used all of their ammo. You can see right now they're sitting at, what is it going to be, 2,400, and they used all their ammo. Yeah, really good value from those. As far as reinforcements go, we are going to be summoning out some Zargard, so I figured I was pushing up. So, whenever I push up in a very close objective game like this, the Zargard are going to be filling the back, whereas the other Kossars and the Ice Witch are going to continue moving for his home objective, which means that he's going to have to start summoning units to protect that instead of going for objective 3, right? So that's going to be the plan. Patriarch attacking in, Warbears swarming across. They've got 8 models right here, and they are going to be getting that duel of fates going and tearing down these units that have been giving me so much trouble this entire game. But the triple cap is looking like it could be possible. Armored Kossars will obviously defeat Skinks in combat pretty handily. They will not defeat red-crested Skinks super easily, though. Those guys have really good armor piercing, and it looks like they have a couple of chevrons on them as well, so they're pretty sauced up. Ice Witch is over here, very low, but her Ice Maiden's Kisses have been pretty on point this game. 153 kills. This objective is pretty much completely swept, and at this point the Lizards have pretty much lost some momentum. As these sleds continue to just run through the enemy army, we pressure the back objective here, and there's not going to be enough time for the dinos to get any sort of counter momentum as the bears just continue tearing through. GG, well played. And Kislev has been one of my adoptions lately, been trying to figure him out in tandem with Nurgle, and I honestly think Kislev is better than Nurgle. I just feel like they can do a little bit more. Nurgle is just like, Nurgle's infantry are great, but everything else is kind of trash. At least Kislev can have mobility and decent quality infantry. Poor Lords of Magic, a little bit of a limited roster, but overall I do feel better with them than Nurgle. So yeah, Patriarchs did good. Bear didn't do crazy value, but it did absorb quite a bit of damage. But yeah, sleds were great. Patriarchs were awesome fighters. Warbear Riders solid, 24 and 13. Both of them had 1 summon, so that was very good. But yeah, the sleds and the Bear Riders did really good for me. Crow kind of got shut down a little bit. Ancient Salamanders would have been good against a more infantry-heavy build. Many Kislev players will come out with like mass archers and Kossars, and if I had done that, his build would have been devastating. But due to the nature of my build being very kind of narrow and more sled-focused, it wasn't that good. But GG, well played. We'll see you guys next time, and that is going to be it for tonight.